Welcome to Pixarize's scene for Vitamin K Biochemistry, part of our series on the vitamins. This scene takes place at my favorite place in the world, the breakfast table. Breakfast food is the lifeblood of humanity. Hopefully, our time together in this brief scene will be as magical as a morning meal. Let's begin in the foreground, where we'll notice a big, unopened box of everyone's favorite cereal, Super K. Most cereals are boasting about their array of vitamins and minerals, but Super K only contains one vitamin, vitamin K. The only vitamin you need. Well, not really. Super K is our symbol for vitamin K, which should be pretty easy to remember since the K on the box is enlarged to show detail. Vitamin K goes by a few other names, which we've chosen to represent with the lamp above the table that's shedding light on your Super K cereal meal. The light will help us remember the prefix phyto, since vitamin K also goes by phytomenadione, phytonadione, and phyloquinone. These are some rough names, and vitamin K is much easier to remember, but hopefully the LITO here reminding you of phyto should be enough for you to recognize them. You'll also note that the phyto light has illuminated the Super K box a little too well. It's obvious this box of cereal has been out for a while. It seems to be growing something. These gross green germy things are there to represent bacteria, since vitamin K is synthesized by the intestinal gut flora. Ew. Now, if we turn our attention to the other side of the table, we'll notice a tub of epoxide resin next to another box of cereal. Looks like this table was just refinished, like minutes ago. This epoxide resin is our symbol for epoxide reductase. Epoxide resin reductase is responsible for reducing vitamin K epoxide to its active form, vitamin K. Once activated, vitamin K can perform its essential functions. To understand what those functions are, let's take a look at the back of the Super K box next to the epoxide reductase resin tub. Looks like one of those boxes with a game on the back. Not to toot my own horn here, but nowadays those cereal box games are really easy for me. I'm so freaking smart. Anyway, the game on the back of the cardboard box of cereal is our symbol for gamma carboxylation, or gamma cardboard boxylation. Vitamin K that has been activated by epoxide reductase is a cofactor in the gamma carboxylation of glutamic acid residues on several important clotting factors. Turns out, clotting factor activation via this pathway is vitamin K's most important role. But we should have known that, since if we look closely at our germy, grimy Super K box, we would have seen that K is for coagulation. Yum? Between the intestinal flora germs and the fresh coating of epoxide resin, I'm starting to wonder if it's safe to eat off this table at all. And K for coagulation doesn't make me hungry either. If this scene ruins my love of breakfast, I'll never forgive myself, I guess. At this point, you're probably thinking, okay, epoxide reductase turns vitamin K epoxide into vitamin K, which then acts as a cofactor for the gamma carboxylation and activation of glutamic acid residues on certain clotting factors. But which clotting factors are those? I'm glad you're thinking that because it means I don't have to recap it. To find out which factors we need to remember, let's start in the back left of the scene on the countertop. Here we can see a couple of decorative counterpieces. First, we should be able to tell that there's a little angel statue and a chicken statue. The angel statue sits next to a frame that says blessed. If it said #blessed, I'd put it in my house too. But alas. Anyway, this uplifting message and statue should remind us of heaven, Pixarize's symbol for the number 7. And indeed, factor 7 heaven is our first clotting factor that requires active vitamin K to mature. And the chicken statue next to the angel isn't actually a chicken at all. It's a hen. How could I have been so blind? Hen is our recurring symbol for the number 10. Factor hen 10 is another of these vitamin K dependent factors. I think you can see where this is going. Now focus on the opposite side of the counter where a healthy vine-producing plant is busy doing viney plant things. #thriving. #photosynthesis. #justplantthings. This plant's long vines should help us remember factor 9, since vine is our symbol for the number 9. #factor 9 is just fine. Next up is our breakfast-consuming kid sitting at the counter. We can really only see a little portion of his face and his sweet pair of red shoes. Hopefully he didn't eat any of that germ-ridden Super K. His red, prominent shoes are there to represent Factor 2, or Factor Shoe. And take a look at what he's toiling over on his computer. It looks like some pretty complicated code. This kid must be a genius. Or, I guess, any kid growing up in 2018, since they all seem to know how to code. Makes me feel old. #sad. Anyway, this kid is obviously partaking in some hardcore computer science, a subject that is often abbreviated CS. CS should help you remember protein C and protein S, which are also dependent on the activation of vitamin K, even though they're components of the clot degradation pathway. That Super K is really potent. So from left to right, the clotting proteins that vitamin K helps carboxylate are Factor 7 heaven, Factor 10 hen, Factor 2 shoe, and Factor 9 vine. And behind our coding preteen, his CS project represents the anti-clotting proteins C and S. And there we go, some really high-yield vitamin K-dependent clotting factors made simple. Gosh, I wish I had Pixar eyes when I was learning these. I wish a lot of things in my life had been different. And that's pretty much it for this scene. Vitamin K serves a vital role in secondary coagulation. Vitamin K epoxide reductase is actually the enzyme targeted by the anticoagulant warfarin, but you'll get to that in your heme module. Next up is our scene for vitamin K deficiency, so grab your breakfast to go and follow me. #on to the next one.